Today we are going to learn about how to use the parameters. Essentially, before we want to start, we want to lock absolutely everything so that way we don't accidentally select something we don't want to and add it to one of the parameters. We will be touching the eyes first. I wonder if I should have added more. I'm just trying to wonder if it'll be enough, right? It'll be enough polygons. Yes, screw it. I'm not gonna bother. Anyways, once we select that, we can add two keyforms, and now it's in these parameters. And now what happens is you can move this around and it'll automatically do the movement for you. Let's undo that. You can also resize it, so like that, and you'll see where we're going with this. Of course, you can also alter the opacity for this, like so. That's also another thing you can do. This is what the parameters do. Essentially, they change like the position, the art mesh and its vertices and all that, so that way it's all, you know, it automatically does the movement for you. You just gotta move all the parts around and get them to shape the right way. So like if I wanted to do the eye open and eye close, essentially I want to do that, and I haven't done the keyforms on this at all. Alright. Let me just quickly do that and then we can get started. Because I'm lazy, I'm just using the computer generated one. But anyways, let's get back in action. So, I'm going to add the keyforms to IL open, so that way, once it's closed, it'll be shaped. I want to, like, shape it, so move it down here somewhat, and then, like, sort of close it. But, of course, we can only edit one vertex at a time, and that's pretty tedious. So, we are going to use this tool called Deform Path Edit, which creates a bunch of vertices here, which then we can edit and deform like this, making it nice and easy to essentially move the eyes down and closed. I think I probably should have moved this layer up. There we go. And we're gonna try to move it to a closing eyelid. I think I'll just... It's a bit rough, not gonna lie. Probably should have made a manual. Should have made the mesh manually, but I was too lazy, and this is why you tend to want to make the meshes yourself, because, well, they tend to not look right if you... Well, that looks horrendous. That being said, I'm not gonna have my eyes closed all the time, but still. Woo! Yep, that's right. The most beautiful mesh of all time. That's how it's gonna be as the eye closes. And now all we have to do is do the same thing for the eye white. And now we just have to essentially move everything else. We can also lock the eyelash now, so that way. I'm gonna squeeze this down and try to fit everything inside the eyelash there. Alright, so now what happens is the eyes sort of close like this. It looks absolutely off. So, we're gonna try and correct it. Okay, that's not so bad. Try to adjust it. Looks absolutely weird, but there you go. Now all you have to do is edit the vertices. You can hold down Control in order to edit the vertices manually, so that way you don't accidentally click on the thing. And if you accidentally like click on this drag, you can press the X right there, so that way you don't accidentally move everything else, like so. Most people won't notice. At least I don't think anyone noticed with my first model. I think it's obvious to anyone with a keen eye, but ta-da! You can now open and close it. Just like that. And now all I have to do is do the same thing for the other eye. Which, of course, is going to take some time. I already spent 10 minutes just making this. For you guys, I speed it up, so it's probably like 2 minutes at least that I took to make everything else. But unfortunately, for me, I have to do this all manually and super slowly. And of course, you guys are going to experience the same thing as you make your model. And that's basically the biggest difficulty in making a Live2D model. It is tedious as heck. I don't think it's really fun to make it. But once it's done, you get a fully moving model like the one I'm using right now that I've made like, I don't know, like roughly a year ago, I think. And maybe more than that. But yeah, it's a slow and tedious process. And essentially, you just apply all the things I've told you about to move everything that you need to. I'm just moving the eyes along, but you can also, like, move other things, like armor pieces or drones around, you know, like, you know, I don't know if you guys know about this VTuber. Valifor has, like, a whole bunch, he's, like, an armored VTuber, like a robot-type VTuber, and it's, like, his entire thing is made with just a free trial of Live2D, and, you know, if you mess around with parameters and do all that stuff, that's what's really amazing and all that. And yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. It's worth checking out. That's like the maximum you can do with it. This isn't limited to just the eyes, the mouth, or anything of the sort. You can do anything you want with it. And of course, the only cost to that is time, honestly. Time's really it. Alright, and now we are going to move to IR open, add the keyforms there, and as it closes, we want to move it so that way it's roughly like this somewhat. It's not going to be perfect. You can do it in any way you want, but alright. Now I'm going to try to correct this and shape it so that way it's not so off. If the worst comes to worst, you can add more vertices. That's what I'd do anyway. Alright, that's good enough. Now we just need to edit the eye white now. And squeeze it down. Make some path edits. And now all we have to do is drag all the stuff in there. So that way it all fits in these little, in the black parts of the eye. If you accidentally forget to enter in the parameters, add the parameters, then it won't move as you would intend it to. So let's redo that again. You ought to double check. If it is added to like a parameter, once you select the part, it will highlight green. Like if I select the eyelash, if I can unlock it, this will highlight green. So, and once I select this, or the eyelash, this highlights green, so you know what you're editing. So anyways, let's retry that again. Oopsie-doo. Okay. Now we just want to edit the eyelash now, so that way it's more proper. Alright. Now both the eyes can be closed and opened. Just like that. Now I'm gonna try the mouth now, which is gonna be fun. Add the parameters. And now what I have to do is when it's open, the mouth will essentially move to the open position. However, I want to do something interesting. Essentially, I'm gonna add a new key form after this. After clicking this, I'm gonna click on the I'm gonna at the window. I'm gonna remove this so that way and here we are. I'm gonna click on this right here to add a keyform there, and once I click on OK, there's now a keyform there. And what I want to do is essentially, well, not yet anyway, I'm gonna move all of these vertices to the mouth open position. Like so. So that way it fits roughly where I want it to. Of course, not everything's perfect, so you have to adjust. Doesn't have to be perfect, because it's not going to be. Of course, if you are wanting it to be super perfect, then you can, but I'm not trying to be perfect here. I'm just trying to get it to fit just as nicely as possible. And once it's closed, I want to probably have this mouth forgot to give it its art mesh, so let's do that now. And now all we have to do is add the keyforms. And when it's closed, we want to squeeze it down. Add some path deform tools. You don't have to limit yourself to 4, but I do. And essentially, the mouth opens and closes like that. And you can see it start to shape. Now, I'm going to click on this, add a keyform to this area, so that way there's like a keyform right there. And what I'm going to do is change the opacity of the mouth at the 0 position to 0. So now it's invisible. And once it's open, I can now, it disappears, and once it's at 1.1, I'm going to select the mouth and have its opacity slowly start to fade away. I also have to select that so that way zero. Or maybe, it really is up to me, I guess. Well, I don't think anyone's gonna notice. Ta-da! Now I can talk. Yay! And of course, now we can do the mouth form tool where we can change it so that way it's like a smile and our frown. So we have to add like 3 keyforms here. When it's closed, you have to modify it so that way it's like that. And we also have to do the same for this. And once the mouth is open, we also have to adjust for the smile as well. So let's widen this a little bit. And of course, we have to do this all manually. There's no key form. There's no way to like do the fun stuff make this easier without like you have to do all the editing as far as I'm aware into this. It's not like the eyeballs where you can automatically, you know. So it's a rather tedious process for the mouth at least. Now for the mouth open, we'll also add the 3 keyforms to the mouth form. So when it's closed, oh boy. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, so now when it's smiling, yeah, there we go. And now once we have that, we just need to adjust everything so that way it's a big wide smile. Not sure what else to say other than do your best and try and make it fit. Or maybe your model doesn't smile because it's covered by a mask or something, or whatever the case is. Then you don't have to edit like that. Edit it like what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Well, it's starting to form. It's starting to form. You can see it forming. It's coming nicely. Slowly but surely. Or maybe I'll curve the mouth down a little. That way it's not so. Okay. That's too sharp. Let's try to... That's too weird. Oh dear. Oh no. The open mouth is fine and all, but... Oh no. Gonna try to make it more curvy. Bit more gentler because I hate wide smiles. That's one thing for sure. Well, that's well and dandy, but I have slightly made it more complicated than I needed it to be. But I can now smile. Now all I have to do is make the frowning part, which is gonna be probably the easier part. I'm gonna move down. So. Ta-da! For the mouth, while it's frowning. Got a call for an appointment, but it's nothing super amazing. So you can go ahead and ignore that. I think I'll also adjust it like so. And once the mouth is open, when it's frowning, I think it'd be easier to modify this instead. Yep. Okay, that's gonna be tough. I don't really want to touch the fangs, so that will be alright. Maybe add a little more vertices here to sort of help overall balance a little. Is it weird that I found that frown funny? Alright, you know what? I think that's perfect then. Anyway, now let's make this visible and adjust accordingly. Now when it's open like that, we can adjust somewhat here. Oh no! Look at that! It's a beautiful expression. Though I don't think my program really records all of that properly. So, yeah. Isn't it? It's like, I don't know. You'll definitely feel this weird pleasure seeing it all come together. Every single time you make a Live2D model, I think that's like the greatest thing about making your own model, at least. You get to see it all come together. And now for the eyebrows. I have no idea how to actually do the eyebrows aside from the form. So, sorry, I don't know what else to do about that. In all honesty. With brow form, you just add this, and then you can use the path. We can use this deformer tool to quickly set ourselves up, and we just adjust like that. Still need some minor adjustments though. Which isn't too hard. Just tedious, as I said. It's easy as heck. There's nothing difficult about this. It's just tedious. Just tedious. Yeah. Now for the right brow. Add keyforms. Add path deformers. Whoa. Wow. Wow. See? Looks nice and beautiful. Now, path R. Frown. Sad. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And now we have made the eyebrows, the eyes closing and opening. You can make it, you can even make him do a wink. Or her if your model is a she, or them, or whatever. But yeah. You can right click to just lock them all onto their specific value, but yeah. We did it. Yay. It's a tedious process, but it's well worth it in the end. At least I think so. You can get somebody else to do it for you, but making your own, you sort of appreciate, and you just see everything come together. You're just like, yes, it looks good, and all that. But yeah, there is a quick way to make the irises. Like, you have the eye open parameters, the eyeball parameters, and essentially if you move it like so, give me a second to, can I, you can do something like, well actually since this is the negative direction, and if you add a parameter here and you move it up, I guess, you can then sort of click on these and merge them, and you can create, you can sort of, let me just select the parameters are combined. Synthesize corners, if you click on that, and then you can now do that if you plan to make the eyeball anyway. Don't understand why I needed to edit a mesh so that way the red thing shows up, but whatever. And then we can move it down. And now we have all these. Click on this, Synthesize Corners. And now we have all these all synthesized. I also want to synthesize corners for this. Now you have the corners. Of course, you probably want to edit it a little bit. This just makes it easier, but edit it slightly so that way it's not so wonky and weird. You can also rotate a little bit. But yeah. Ring. And that's the eyeballs. Thank you all so much for watching, for real this time. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya.